Madam Speaker, I yield myself 3 minutes.
Gentleman is recognized for 3 minutes.
Madam Speaker, today we have heard from our friends on the minority side an ample amount of sarcasm and cynicism and partisan hyperbole mixed in with fiscal fiction. I hope we can cut through that today. Today we can either sit frozen in the ice of our own indifference, as Franklin Roosevelt once said, or we can take action to help states meet their safety net obligations and to protect our children's education by keeping teachers in the classroom while we continue to claw our way back from the most devastating economic crisis since the Great Depression. Last year, in the first job recovery package, we recognized 2 reasons for providing federal aid to states and school districts. The first was to reduce the human carnage that occurs when we take kids off health care coverage or let their education suffer because of teacher layoffs. The second was that standing by while states, localities, and school boards cut essential investments and services and impose significant new taxes will cripple the ability of the economy to grow and cause additional job weakness in both private and public sectors. It is important, Madam Speaker, to remember how we got here. The failed economic policies of the previous 8 years obliterated hard-won budget surpluses inherited from President Clinton. Federal oversight of Wall Street banks was gutted, allowing them to morph into casinos and drive the economy into catastrophic collapse. That produced monthly losses of 750,000 jobs in each of the last 3 months of the Bush administration. We now know that the economic crisis was even deeper and more broad than we initially expected. While the economy has improved, the effects of the recession are not yet behind us. They are still affecting people's lives and livelihoods. 3 times before today, in December, in May, and in July, we tried to take additional actions to ease the problems, and 3 times we were blocked. Now today we have this much reduced bill to provide $10 billion in funding to save somewhere around 160,000 education jobs and $16 billion in health assistance to the states. Our friends in the minority accuse us of including job-killing tax increases to pay for it. That's ridiculous. The bill closes a tax loophole that encourages companies to ship jobs overseas. Not only will that help pay for this package, it will fix a hole in the tax code that is rewarding companies for sending American jobs elsewhere. Still others, including the leadership of the minority, call this a special interest bill. To that I say, since when do we regard America's kids as a special interest group? I yield myself 2 additional minutes. You don't get a second chance to educate kids. We should not fool ourselves into thinking that this package will do as much as we ought to be doing to ease the squeeze on the national economy. We will have partially offset with this bill the human wreckage caused by the recession, but we will still have done nothing in this round to address the macro reality that the economy is still incredibly weak. This bill will soften the blow of state budget cutbacks, but those very cutbacks have had a negative and neutralizing effect on the federal fiscal stimulus in the first place. This is a far less dramatic action than the nation needs to recover from the recession, but this aid is long overdue and the time for arguing is past. The cutbacks in food stamps in the bill are plain wrong. But face it, the minority party in the Senate is using the rules of the Senate to give them the functional equivalent of the majority's ability to determine the agenda of that body. And they have decided to follow a rule or ruin approach to governance, blocking every action they can, and in this case, delaying action to the point of complete confusion. Our nation's kids are getting ready to go back to school. They need this help now, inadequate though it is. I urge all members to vote yes to give it to them. It's the least we should do I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California.